Hello students, I'm Dr. Z and I'm going to be working with your teachers during your school year to help talk about science. I am a scientist. I am retired from working, but I worked as a scientist for many years. Now, one of the things your teachers tell me that you're going to be studying are life cycles, the life cycles of animals and of plants. And this is a very interesting topic, and I'm going to be concentrating or focusing on a special life cycle of an insect called the butterfly. And as you can see beside me here, we're going to be talking a little bit about the life cycle of monarch butterflies, but I'm also going to bring in another type of insect related to the butterflies, which are called moths. You've probably heard that before. And we're going to kind of follow the life cycle of a moth also. So let's begin with the life cycle. What is a life cycle? Well, you know, all living things, they're born, they live and have a good life, and then they usually have children, offspring, and then they eventually die and their children take over and continue that cycle of life. Here's an example. Let me get this closer so you can see it, of the life cycle of a monarch butterfly. Okay? And it all starts here with the laying of eggs. You can see those little white dots. They usually lay those eggs and the monarch butterflies on a very special plant called a milkweed. And you may have heard that. There are a lot of milkweeds growing wild in our area. In fact, in some of your courtyards at school, you have milkweed growing. So the mother butterflies lay their eggs on those milkweed leaves. And then eventually, those little eggs will develop into caterpillars. And you've probably seen these beautiful yellow and black caterpillars running around everywhere. They're very interesting, and I'm going to show you a live one in just a minute. And then something wonderful happens. One day that caterpillar decides to change, and he goes someplace and hangs upside down and creates this beautiful green little sac called a chrysalis. Isn't that a great word? Chrysalis. And inside of that chrysalis, something amazing happens. That caterpillar turns into this beautiful butterfly. Isn't that amazing? I mean, that caterpillar doesn't look really anything like that butterfly, yet that's what it turns into, this beautiful butterfly. And then the mother butterflies will eventually lay eggs again, and the butterfly will die, but the life cycle continues with those new eggs that she has created. Isn't that wonderful? I went out into the woods the other day, and I wanted to try to find some caterpillars so that during the next couple weeks, you and I, with your teachers, can actually follow and watch the development of this life cycle of the monarch butterfly. And you know, this year, I really wasn't able to find many monarch caterpillars out there. I'm not sure why. Maybe it's the time of season, the time of year. Maybe if I go a little later, I'll be able to find some. But anyway, I do have a little fellow here that I was able to collect, and he is a really cute one. I hope you can see him. There he is in all his glory. And he's a nice, you can see him moving around. He's a very nice little specimen. You can see his antenna. They're really working hard. And do you see this little black area right there? That's actually a hole in the leaf. And you know what? Since I've been here talking to you, he's been eating that part of the leaf. And this, by the way, is a milkweed leaf. I broke it off the plant, the milkweed plant. And do you know why they call it milkweed? Well, when you first break the leaf off right here at the tip, there's a big drop of what looks like milk. It's white, just like milk. And that's why you get the name milkweed. So we're going to follow this little guy's life cycle, and hopefully we're going to see him turn into a beautiful chrysalis, and then we're going to watch the development of that chrysalis into a beautiful monarch butterfly. He's very active this morning, walking around. You know how I have found that they really eat a lot at night. They seem to kind of rest during most of the day, but they do eat a lot at night. Okay, so I'm going to put him back so that we don't scare him too much. Okay. Now, while I was out there in the woods, I saw another really interesting looking caterpillar. And I brought some of those back home with me. And they have been so interesting to watch. And here I'm going to try to show you this guy. He's very different looking from the monarch. He almost looks like a brush. He's got all of this, almost looks like fur. And you can see there are some white whiskers in there. Now, I've been watching the behavior of these guys, and they're really very different. Oh, he's starting to move a little bit. But when they're moving, oh, do you see him moving? When they start moving in the cage, they really walk fast. You see him? Oh, he's starting to move. Ooh, he's really pretty. He's trying to act for you, I think. Okay? And I noticed a very interesting behavior of these guys. When they get, I'm going to put him back so I don't lose him. What I noticed about them is when I was trying to capture them so that I could bring them home so we could observe them, any little movement on the plant, and by the way, they do like to eat milkweed also. Any little movement on the plant, and they immediately let go of the leaf and fall down to the ground. And I tried to find them. They fell into the grass, and I tried to find them, and I just couldn't find them. I must have lost about 6 of them before I figured out how you have to sneak up on them and put something under the leaf and then move the leaf and let them fall into your container that you're going to take them home in. So I did some research because I didn't recognize what this guy looked like. Here, I have a container here. I'm going to let you see him. He's really crawling around a lot right now. Look at him go. He's beautiful, isn't he? And I did some research and found out that this, in fact, is the caterpillar of a moth called a tiger moth, because they have some kind of orange stripes on them, okay? And a moth is really kind of like a cousin of a butterfly. And you know there are hundreds and hundreds of types of butterflies all over the world. And this is a very special type of moth called the tiger moth. And moths are a little different from butterflies. You know, butterflies, when they land, their wings are upright and they stand out so beautifully. When a moth lands, its wings fold back behind it. Almost looks like a jet plane. And so I hope we're going to be able to watch and see that tiger moth caterpillar develop into an actual moth. So that should be fun. So we'll be working together, I hope, and the next time I see you, I hope we may have some chrysalis here where the caterpillar have evolved into the chrysalis, and then the next step would be actually developing into the either butterfly or the moth. Now, some things for you to take home today. Remember I talked about this wonderful change. You know, when human beings like us, when we have our babies, mothers have babies, the babies look pretty much like all of us do, right? They have a head, they have 2 arms and 2 legs. So the baby looks pretty much like the mother or the father, right? Now, caterpillars, on the other hand, they're so different from what a butterfly looks like, right? That's one of the biggest changes in nature that takes place. And there's a wonderful word. If you're going to be a scientist, or at least learn about science, you need to learn some good words that scientists use. And the first word I'm going to leave with you today is this word called metamorphosis. Isn't that a great word? Metamorphosis. Let me get it out here for you so you can see it better. Whoop, there we go. Metamorphosis. And that describes this great change that takes place when the caterpillar becomes a butterfly. And by the way, there's another word I'll leave with you today, larva. That's another word that scientists use for the caterpillar. So this caterpillar here, this guy that we saw just a minute ago, scientists would say that's the larva of a monarch butterfly, right? So two good words to take home with you today and to share with your parents, and you can show them how much science you've learned. You've learned about metamorphosis, which is this great change that takes place in the life cycle of the butterfly. And you also learned that the caterpillar can also be called a larva. So this little guy, and I'll leave you with another view of this little guy. If we're lucky, in a few days, we're going to see our little friend here. There he is. He's the larva of a monarch butterfly. He's a monarch butterfly in the making, okay? He has the potential to become a butterfly. So very soon, I hope that I will come back and we're going to see that larva. Okay, guys, thank you for your attention, and I certainly look forward to working with you during the course of your year on lots of interesting things. And I so hope that sometime before the school year ends next year, that I will actually be able to come to school and you'll be there and we'll be able to meet and talk more about science. Okay, guys, keep studying and I'll see you soon. This is Dr. Z saying so long.